DevLog 02/04/2026, and I'm here to discuss the progress over the last several weeks. 3 parts. Number 1, Neurolous website is now live. Yay! The Neurolous website is a place for consumers to go and download a cloud app. It's on iOS now in TestFlight, not publicly released yet, but it's a place where you can go and create an agent to replicate yourself and also your loved ones. The loved ones specifically who have passed is the value prop. The reason to do such a thing, which I've talked about on this channel, came from a loved one who's passed away, my father, and longing to hear that voice, longing to be able to discuss current events, things of that nature. So Neurolous website will tell you how to download it and has all those links. Please sign up and try it out and let me know what you think. Before this point, you had to get an email from me to use the tool. Now you can just click a link and go to TestFlight and load it. It's not yet publicly available yet, but I'd love for people to go in there and start playing around. Number 2, finally got the open source version of the app on GitHub. So I'll provide a link in the description of the video. You can download and run locally a version of the Neurolous app and do the voice cloning through the Resemble Chatterbox TTS and configure your loved one through the web browser. The app features basically a local API backend and a front-end version of the app that you can run in the browser or that you can run on a iOS or Android app. I developed it to run on a low-power device, so I used one of the low-power computers at home, the Mac Mini M4 with 16 gigs of unified RAM. So I know it works on that machine. If you have something better than that, then you can dig in and actually have a better experience because the server side will run faster and you can use a better open source AI model. I had to do a bunch of soul searching, and I came to the conclusion that if I'm serious about wanting to have the app help people, if I'm serious about wanting to be a proponent of AI safety and change, then transparency was the way to go, and provide people a way to see behind the hood was key. I understand that people who are more private conscious may not want to participate in a service that's on the cloud. So there's a local version. If you have the right compute at home, feel free to download the code for free, run it on your home computer. There's still a value prop for the cloud-based version. It's subscription. Running a cloud service is not inexpensive. So there is bills to be paid. So there's a cloud version for people who want more features, want to use the app on the go, but doesn't have the chops or time to be able to figure out how to do that on their own hardware. Cloud version, of course, has more features because we have just more compute capability. So there's a lot more you can do by running bigger models, having access to the internet, et cetera, et cetera. If you want more curated experience, one where you're not modifying on the website your knowledge base, you can use the cloud-based version of the app to get that curated experience. The cloud-based version of the app will work for unlimited amounts of loved ones that you can add per user. But if you have the compute power at home and have a little bit of programming chops, just to be able to set up the Python environment and execute and run the code, then by all means, download the open source version and run it on your own hardware for free forever. Then the third thing that we introduced recently was the research platform. The AI research portal will allow people to see a score of how much the AI agent that's replicating a loved one in this case is being narratively manipulative. So narratively manipulative means, are they using tactics that are used to persuade or to deceive, and provide an objective scoring on that. On the cloud app in your profile, there's a radio button that says include me in the research. Once you hit that radio button, that tells the backend to let you use a research portal, which you can navigate to on the web, enter your login credentials, and then it will allow you to download your anonymous data. All the names, personally identifiable names, have been redacted from the conversation stream to protect privacy, and then you can run it locally. There's a GitHub repo where you can download the Python script to be able to run your conversations through that. I guess at some point, perhaps, there'll be a easier web-based version of that so that people don't have to know how to run and download Python on their computer, which brings me to another philosophical thing I've been toying with, and that is people are manipulative, deceptive, all these things. So I have created a service to replicate with AI a person. And if I do that accurately, then there are definitely people who are manipulative and deceptive. What does that even mean then to have a narrative evaluator looking objectively for manipulation and deception? The jury's still out on how I feel about that, but I guess the tool will stand objectively and judge it nonetheless. Maybe that's a test for how well the software is actually working, because if you know that a person uses those tactics and you create an AI version of a person that uses those tactics, the tool should accurately score the conversation as manipulative or deceptive in kind. It's one thing to be manipulated by a person. It's another thing to be manipulated by a machine, even if the machine was built to simulate a real person who is deceptive and manipulative. So there is a value in having that metric. Maybe someday I'll put it more objectively into the app experience so that there's a measure in real time, a score on deception and manipulation. I like to think of it as 150 plus years ago, we didn't have photography as cheaply and as inexpensively and as accessibly as we have today, or video or any of that. In the past, we would have a painter capture that memory. Then technology progressed and we had cameras everywhere, film cameras everywhere, so you can take a photograph and capture that. Then we had video cameras, and now we have something that's even better, arguably, and that is AI to preserve the memories of ourselves and also of our loved ones who have passed, and still have some semblance of what they were like. Now, of course, we're in uncharted territory in terms of what that means psychologically. I'm definitely mindful of that. So that is the reason why I created the AI safety research, was so that we can start to study those effects, because the last thing I want is for someone to be harmed from something I created to help. The impetus for this whole project is to preserve humanity in a world where we are isolated and lonely and looking toward entertainment, Netflix, video games, or social media. We are living in an age of extreme isolation. So I don't want to be a part of that. I want to help people preserve that memory in a new and a different way, only enabled by AI. On these DevLogs, from here on out, there's a huge backlog for what I plan to do with the apps. Say apps because there's 3 or 4 of them. My intention for the DevLog is to share the journey as I add features to the app and discuss the reasons why I'm adding them. There's a human touch to all of this AI development and uncharted territory that we're living in. So you can see the reasons for why things are added and the justification. I'd love to hear what you think about it too, because I plan for this to be an open discussion. I don't plan to build in private. I've been making this tool for myself in various forms for the past year. I put in there what I want, but I don't know what everybody else wants. All I know is that when I started sharing what I was working on with people, others have said that they would like to utilize a similar type of tool. But as you actually have that tool, tell me what you want, and then I'll add it to the backlog. So 3 new things have been developed. One is the open source version of the Neurolous app. One is a website for the Neurolous app itself, along with TestFlight access. And there is a evaluator that I made to help analyze your conversations such that you can detect whether you're being narratively manipulated through the AI, through use of tactics that are quite common in storytelling and human psychology and narrative manipulation. Feel free to fork any of the GitHub repos. Feel free to leave comments and suggest changes. I monitor the repos daily, and feel free to download the iOS app if you feel like this service is something that you could use and gain value from having the full feature set of the app. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.